All right, welcome back, everybody. We are continuing on with our agent-focused Zoom catch-ups, and we're lucky enough to have Amanda Simpson with us today of Mindful Travel Solutions. She's an independent mobile agent and is given us some of her time today to share her story on how the last couple of months have gone and you know what's happening out there in the front line and what she's been working on over the period. So Amanda, give us a bit of a backstory or your journey into the game and into the industry and what's led you to be where you are today.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh. So as you mentioned, my name's Amanda and I run a small independent agency called Mindful Travel Solutions. I guess what got me into the industry, I think like most other people, I love travel and organising travel since I was, a teenager. I was that annoying person that would, organise schoolies for everyone or the weekends away, and they'd come to me and be like, right, get me this nerdy detailed itinerary, and I would deliver. And when I finished school, which was 10, 15 years ago now, I had that voice in my head that said, nah, the internet's there. If you can book it online, other people can book it online. Travel agents are a dying field. And so I kind of convinced myself to go elsewhere and went into events management. And I think it was for the same reason that I love travel, and it was that organising and creating memories for people that really do last a lifetime. Didn't really last too long there. What I did when I turned 19 is I decided to set myself a New Year's resolution to try 5 different careers over the next 5 years in 5 entirely different places, which was kind of cool. So that took me to, I worked in Hayman Island, a really exclusive resort there, up in the top of the Northern Territory in the middle of nowhere, town up there called Gove, a ski season in New Zealand, back to Daydream Island to run weddings and Roma in Queensland. So yeah, took me a bit of everywhere, but I ended up back at travel. I think a lot of us do. So yeah, that I ended up back where I was at travel. I did some traveling myself and went over to Cambodia, and I think that's where everything kind of started to fall into place for me. Yeah.
And what made you decide to become an independent agent and set up Mindful Travel Solutions?
Yeah, so when I was in Cambodia, I think I realised that my passion was not only travel, but it was in development and in helping, I guess, the locals and helping people in international development itself. And so I started my degree in international development, which I'm due to finish this year, hopefully. Taken a while. And so, yeah, I was doing this degree in international development, and I'd started working for Flight Centre and did a lot of my training there with Flight Centre, both in Melbourne and then in Queensland. So I did the two. But I just really wanted that way to tie the two together. So to tie my love for development and, responsible tourism with my love for sending people on trips and tours. And so Mindful Travel came about. So we donate 10% of all of our profits to local grassroots organisations in Cambodia. So we support them through that. And yeah, we focus on, I guess, the idea was to focus on ethical, sustainable, responsible tourism and get the message out there. So yeah.
And how's the front line at the moment? How's it been over the last few months? We know that all of our frontline travel agents have been going through some tough times. How's it been for you?
I look, as I'm sure it's been for most people, it's been incredibly tough. I think the best way to describe it is that I usually would walk into a room with my, hand held really high. I'm a travel agent. Nice to meet you. And it's the first thing I talk about, and because it's just something that I love. What I've found with everything and being out there at the moment is that I've lost that a little bit. I find that's back a little bit because there's been so much negative attention around things that it's not the first thing I say to people, and that in itself has probably been the hardest thing is shying away from being a travel agent in some respects. Just based on a lot of the negative attention and a lot of things being out of our control and being that middleman. So yeah, it's been quite hard. I've been really lucky though. A lot of my clients have been really, really kind. Few run-ins here and there, but overall they've been quite understanding, which has been a really, really made it a lot easier.
And I mean, you mentioned a couple of things in there, but what's been really the most frustrating part of this whole period for you and you know, your day-to-day operations side of things?
I think I like that word, frustrating. Like, there's a lot of words we could pick that have quite a negative, you know, victim mentality, and it is hard, and there's a lot of things about it, but frustrating is probably a really, really good word for that. It's just, I guess, the lack of knowledge, you know, not knowing what's coming and what to expect. That lack of control, I guess, the lack of control around what we can and can't say, do, help, how we can't help. That losing that lack of control has been really frustrating. The obvious, I guess, like delays in refunds and communication, which we understand, but again, it's that getting that message across has been quite hard. But I think the main thing is that I've always prided myself on, you know, say what you do what you say. And that's so frustrating right now because we can't, to some respects. You know, we can say we're going to do something, but whether or not we can actually deliver on that goes back to that being out of our control. So I think, yeah, the most frustrating thing, I guess, is just what it breaks down to is having to disappoint our clients on a daily basis. You know, initially we had to tell them they can't go on their trip, and then we had to tell them that, well, we can't actually get you everything that you may particularly want back, and then I can't give it to you tomorrow. And it's just that the frustration, I guess, of disappointing people's been, in a nutshell, the hardest, I think.
And how have you stayed in contact with your clients through this? I know you're pretty good on your socials and being you know, out there with that side of things. Have you found that that's been an effective tool, and how have you gone with that side of things?
And yeah, so I guess took the leap to start doing weekly video updates. What the reason why is that I kind of I sat here and thought about, okay, what suppliers and what businesses at the moment am I enjoying their communication? You know, do I think they're communicating well? And it was those people who were really transparent and really upfront and honest. You know, they told us where they were at with refunds or what the situation was, and they didn't shy away from it. So I thought, okay, that's what I want for my clients. So yeah, I do these weekly updates, and we tend to kick it off with, you know, exactly where we're at with refunds, because a lot of people do want to know that. You know, this is the date I've processed up to, clear as day. This is what I'm starting to receive back. This is when you'll expect to see it. And if there's any changes to that. But then I try and tackle as well if there's anything that's happened that week. You know, I don't shy away from it. If Virgin's gone into administration, let's sit down, let's talk about it. You know, let's tackle some of those articles that might, you know, talk negatively or, you know, scare some of my clients and think they're not going to travel till 2030. Like, you know, so we'll sit down and in those weekly updates, we're just, yeah, getting real, which has been really, really helpful.
And I'm sure your customers really, really appreciate that. And, you know, we talk about this on this platform quite regularly around that transparency side of things and possibly how we need to improve that moving forward, and how we have those conversations with our customers. And instead of waiting and being reactive, maybe it's a proactive approach that, you know, we, you know, on that, you know, individual basis, we speak to customers about, you know, these are the things that you need to consider, whether you're thinking about them or not. I'm going to let you know. I'm not going to wait for you to ask me that question, and being proactive with a video for all of your customers to see and say, look, this is what's happening, this is where I'm at, is really in line with that, I think. And I think it's, you know, you're preparing yourself probably for how you know, a lot of your conversations are going to happen, you know, moving forward, which is great to see. Now, obviously, you know, you're peeling back bookings, you know, you're updating customers, you're doing as much as you possibly can at the moment. But if you have found any time through this self-isolation, you know, period, you know, have you been working on anything? Have you started to look at your own sort of personal development, business development? What have you been sort of having a crack at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. So I was actually working part-time before COVID as well as running the business. Because the business is so new and we're only in our first 12 months, I was realistic to the fact that it was going to take a little while to build up. So I was working part-time, but that was always finishing in April, and April was going to be the go time to really take the business. That didn't happen, but what that meant was, I guess, I had a little bit more time free up that I didn't have before. So it's been, yeah, it's given me a real chance to kind of stop. And I guess I've actually been busier throughout this than I have in the last 12, 18 months. And it's through multiple things. As you said, it's through, you know, the cancellation process and then doing the cancellation process again and again. And it's through that admin and that side of things. But what I've really tried to do and what COVID's kind of forced me to do is to stop and really go back to the reasons why I started Mindful Travel. I think when you originally start a business or start a project, you know, you have these great goals in mind in what you want to do, but life kind of gets in the way a little bit sometimes. And that's what happened, I guess, pre-COVID, is that I was making lots of bookings and it was fantastic and I was building this database, but I kind of lost track a little bit of that original message and that original kind of thing I wanted to do. So COVID's really forced me to go back and look at that, which has been amazing. I've redone all my socials, so my Instagram and things that I was shying away from before, really focused on getting them up. I'm getting a website made finally. So yeah, all those little things I wanted to do. But I guess I'm just doing a lot of like personal development courses and mentoring courses and just making sure that when I come out of this, I am best placed to help people, because at the end of the day, I can work on my business books and my processes till I'm blue in the face, but people book with an independent agent and a small business for the person. And that's me. So yeah, I've been working on a few things. I'm launching a blog, which is super exciting, which is called The Mostly Mindful Traveler. So I guess it's going to be a way of reflecting on some of the things I may have done that aren't so mindful, but now on reflection, I can see that. And I guess in turn, hoping that, you know, some of my mistakes around travel may help people not make the same mistakes going forward. And just travel tips, advice, you know, traveling with kids, anything that I can possibly provide as a service to people, an information service around travel. That's where I'm kind of headed as well.
Awesome. And look, I think it's interesting that you say the mostly mindful traveler. I think as a society, just as a side note or my own personal opinion, is I think that we get so hung up on this having to be 100% something that's labelled. So, you know, 100% vegan or 100%, you know, environmental, you know, and somebody's going to be like, oh, you're driving a car, you know, you can't be 100%, or, you know, you didn't eat something that was, you know, completely vegan, or how dare you, you know, like if you know, if we can somehow just get to a point where people are just attempting to more often than not, you know, whether it's if they want to eat less meat, or if they want to drive less, or if they want to, you know, give back when they travel more than they take, then that's fine. But there's always going to be somebody that will point something out to say, hey, you did this, and that means that you're not 100%. And then you're like, oh, yeah, isn't 95% of being a good person still better than not? So yeah, the mostly mindful traveler, I like that. I think that's cool, because really, if you get on a plane, you know, that releases some carbon, you know, you're still contributing to something. So, you know, it's hard to be 100% perfect. Yeah. Hey, obviously there's been some challenges through, you know, the last few months, and you're going through cancellations and process with customers, frustrating customers, and all those things. What, you know, if you've had some time to think back and reflect and take some time to really assess what's been going on out there, what are some of the areas from an agent's point of view? I really want to hear, you know, that the industry that you'd like to see improved, like, you know, something that, you know, you hope that people are watching as much as you're watching and going, you know what, we really need to fix this and we really need to get this right. What are some of the things that you've seen through this process that you'd like to see improved?
Yeah, I have actually had a lot of time to think about that. And I think it's because it comes back to that, I guess, that idea that we are together in travel. And there's kind of two sides to that I think are really important. One, that, you know, us all as a collective travel agents, you know, we're in this together. And, you know, I think what we've kind of seen is this four waves, I guess I would explain it as. And this is throughout most of COVID, not just in our industry. We had this original wave where we were all, I call it like the toilet paper wave, where it was each for their own, you know, we didn't know what was coming, we didn't know what was happening. We had this like, oh, I don't care whether you're a supplier or a friend or an agent, I've got to sort me out, I've got to get, you know, this panic and this like toilet paper phase, I guess. And that was kind of wave one. And then I think what we saw in wave two was this really vital one, which was the Together and Travel kind of wave. And it didn't matter whether you were an independent agent, Flight Centre, STA, Hello World. It did not matter who you worked for, whether you were in Australia or not. We were Together and Travel. And that's where you saw some really amazing connections and collaborations. And people were coming together to make sure that everyone's clients got home. You know, it was this really beautiful whole stage. And I'd love to think we lived in a utopia and that continued, but then came wave three, which was where, you know, there was a lot of negative attention around, you know, certain agencies and around travel agents in general. And I think that's where like the drawing of the lines came back in, and people forgot that we are all travel agents. And it was this like distinct disconnect from, well, no, I'm different. I'm not, but like drawing in the line a little bit. And now I think we're kind of in wave four, which is like this game plan for the future. We're back to kind of thinking about what we're doing going forward. And I think what's most important for travel agents, for the industry, is that we go back to wave two a little bit, and we kind of remember that we are together in this. And this is going to be a really, really long fight. Like, this is not over when restrictions lift in like however many months' time. This is such a long, long haul we're going to go through. And I just really hope that there's some way, and through a lot of these social groups, such as the one you've created, Josh, like, we need this way of staying connected and together, and remembering that we're all fighting the same thing here. We all want the best for our clients. Like, let's keep together. And I think in line with that, my utopia vision would kind of be that, I guess, with suppliers and things as well, we all remember that we are kind of together. So if we face something like this again, it would be so incredible if we all had, and I know utopia again, it's not going to be as simple as that, but we had some form of generic idea around what we would do as an industry and what conditions we might have on bookings and things like that, where it makes it easier for us all to harmoniously kind of get through this, rather than having to know 700 different policies or hearing people say, well, my airline gave this back, or mine didn't. Like, if we had this Together and Travel approach to things, I think it just comes down to that going forward, we need that unity across everything.
Yeah, I think it's some good points that you raised there. You know, some standard service fees, some standard terms and conditions, some standard things that, you know, that we're in this together to make it easier for ourselves to operate, and, you know, and to deliver what we want to do. You know, we're not trying to cut off anyone else's legs, I guess, and by creating some special, you know, special circumstance for ourselves, you know, it is making it harder for somebody else down the other end of the line. So, you know, how that looks and how business operates and how it's traditionally operated, you know, competition is great for business. You know, you need, and if I go back to my good friend Simon Sinek, you know, he talks very much about worthy rivals. You know, Apple isn't Apple without Microsoft, and vice versa. You know, Nike's not Nike without Adidas, and everyone else who plays that in the game. It doesn't just need to be two players. There can be multiple players in the game. But at some point, an agreed set of, you know, rules for the game that we all abide by, you know, would be really advantageous, I think, you know, moving forward. So I agree with you wholly, and we will see, you know, a little bit of each for themselves, and a bit of toilet paper mentality as companies on the other side of this try to recoup some money to get back to where they need to, whether that's airlines or hotels or suppliers, you know, looking to go maybe direct to customers to cut out the middleman, because, you know, they just can't afford to cover, you know, agent commissions, or, you know, they see that as a better channel to market their marketing dollars. Who knows? But, you know, as you said, I think something that's collective, cohesive, you know, is really going to help us all. Mm. And based on all of this, you know, there's lots of challenges. Everything's going, you know, in whatever direction it goes in, you know, but as travel agents, you know, and people in travel, what we all really start to think about at some point is, where are we going to go? And where's that next trip to? And when can I travel? And how can I get on a plane? And, you know, what's, you know, how can I actually do what I love to do? And the reason I'm in it for, you know, all of this hard work, So where's your trip to? Where are you going to go? What are you planning, or what have you put on hold that you're going to actually make happen? What's for you?
Yeah, look, I'd love to go everywhere, obviously. I think my mindset before COVID was that I, wanted to see new places only. And now that I've got a little boy who's nearly 2, obviously my ability to travel is not as much as it was before. So I wanted all the new places. But I think COVID's kind of reminded me to go back to the places that I love and to support those places that are really special to me. So it's no shock there I'm going back to Cambodia. But also because I am looking at kind of going in a slightly different direction post-COVID too, where I'm actually looking at launching my own tailor-made tours of Cambodia, where I'm going to really look at including that, the knowledge I've gained through my international development degree and my love of wanting to promote responsible and ethical tourism, and creating this really cool, exciting 10-day tour that I'll be doing in Cambodia. And can't really go into too much, but effectively it's going to be this really fun 10-day tour where we learn along the way. We go to really local and authentic destinations so that we're directly supporting, those who would really need it after all of this. And the idea being that, at the end of this trip, you've seen some really unique places that you may not have seen. So even if you've been to Cambodia before, we're going to be going kind of really unique places. You've really got involved in a way that you may not have before. But I guess you leave with this understanding of I guess, how things may work in a country that you may not have seen before because you might be traveling in a different way. So yeah, I'm going to be heading to Cambodia and really kind of working out the inner workings of that to hopefully launch next year, which will be really exciting.
It is exciting, mate, and it's great to be able to align your passions and your purpose with what you're doing every day, as we talk about on this regularly. And I think everyone's starting to understand that that's something that I'm very very passionate about as well, which is great. So, look, mate, you've given us a huge amount of value today, and we really appreciate it. And jumping on and hearing your story and what you've been through and how you're staying resilient and staying strong through all of this, and no doubt with that sort of attitude and commitment to what you want to achieve, you'll come out the other side of this, stronger and better and capable of coping in the new world that we're all going towards. But before we let you go, can you think of anybody else out there that you think might want to share their story and add a bit of value to the group by giving us a couple of nominations?
Yeah, definitely. I have a couple. So I've got some friends back up in Queensland who I have been speaking to throughout this, and 2 entirely different, I guess, scenarios. One is Solvay Logo. She is a team leader up in Mackay, who is a mega store, who's taken on everyone else's stores and just would have so many stories, I guess, of resilience and how to get through all of this. And in the same kind of area, Susan Wilson, who is a travel agent as well, who has always been inspiring with how much she cares about her clients. She's that person that you aspire to be because she just cares so much. And I think that through all of this, those people who care so very much are probably those who are most really affected by this because they care and they get themselves involved with their clients, and their clients being hurt is hurting them. So I think she would also have a lot to contribute and a lot to talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, I think they both would add a huge amount of value to the group. So we'll tag them in the post and see if they can find some time to reach out and have a chat also. But as I said, mate, thank you so much for your time today. It's been great to hear your story. Lots of value for myself and no doubt those out there watching. So thank you. Good luck, and absolutely look forward to catching up on the other side of all of this.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, cool, mate. All right. Talk soon.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.